We are back. We are back. Are you ready out there? I know I'm ready. I am excited about today. Come on, get excited with me out there. There is lots of things to achieve today, and one of them is hanging out with us yet again. I am back. That's right. It's Jessica Koch. I am your host, and this is Profound Professionals. It is an interview series that has been coming to you. Yes, I scour and roam and go across the globe. I have brought you expert speakers from the country of Georgia, from Australia, yes, the down under, from the UK, from all over our beautiful planet. And they help you improve your personal life or grow your business. That's right. We want you to be the best version of yourself so you can inspire others for years, hopefully hundreds of years to come. And we want your bank account to be huge with passive revenue, with a successful business, with really creative investing so that you can leave generational wealth for your family and your community. And I know there are some families out there that right now from the 1900s, their families are approaching almost 200 years of generational wealth. That could be you too. And get your act together, get your beauty on. We've got beauty and money today for our show. So today I am super excited to introduce our two guests. Mason, I'm going to flip it all over on its head upside down and go gentlemen first. Mason is a certified financial planner and a partner of Sirius. Get that? Sirius. And it's not spelled like the serious you're thinking. Wealth management. I loved that. Where he works with business owners, with high net worth individuals and families, and working through their complex financial decisions and turning long-term goals into actionable strategies. So not just the Rockefellers of the world can truly impact a community and a family for hundreds of years to come. Isn't that true, Mason?
It is. It is. Thank you for having me, Jessica.
I am super excited to have you. And we also have the beautiful, the dazzling, the sparkling, the I'm so jealous she looks so darn good, Rachel. She is a wellness focused beauty leader, which I love that because, to be beautiful, sometimes we do some things or use some stuff that just is not good for us. And so she's very wellness focused in her beauty leadership. And she's on a mission to help people feel grounded and beautiful and empowered in every step. And if we feel beautiful and we feel wonderful, we can shine so much more wonderfulness. And yes, that's my word, wonderfulness into the community in the world we live in. So thank you for what you do because it is truly important. I read something that confidence is there's a whole science, like way smarter people than me at really big fancy universities did studies and white papers, that confidence is really the key to the most successful and financially wealthy people. Mason, you should want to hear this because that's how we achieve great things. We become brave enough to take that step even though we're fearful because we have confidence in some part of us, in some aspect of us. So Rachel, I believe your work is incredibly important. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for such a flattering introduction, and thank you for having me on.
All right, we are going to get right down to it. First, I'm going to tell you, I'm the Italian mother of 7 and 9 grandkids and counting, but I'm not your mama. All right. So we're not giving you medical, financial, legal, or any other kind of advice. We are sharing with you our knowledge or expertise, what's worked for us. Go talk to an expert. Hey, guess what? He's certified. So you might go talk to Mason and get some of this wellness beauty on and go talk to Rachel. But go seek whatever professional, you're a grown up, you know what to do, that you'd like to talk to. This is an entertaining and educational show. So there you go. All right. With that out of the way, Mason, I'm going to go back to you first and ask you to give us a bit of your journey and story and how you got into this whole money escapade of your life.
Yes, absolutely. Let's go down the rabbit hole, shall we? We'll take
That's right.
I guess a journey through my lifetime. I've been in what I will call the financial services world I mentioned earlier over 10 years. It's coming up on 12 years now. I grew up in what I would classify maybe the textbook definition of low to middle income household. I grew up in South City, St. Louis. My mom was a waitress growing up. My dad was a trim carpenter. We didn't come from wealth, so I didn't know anything about it. But I was an observer throughout my life. I paid attention to things and people. I've seen family, extended family, friends of family who, were what I would say successful people. They had very successful jobs, made lots of money, and I've seen business owners do the same thing. But then being that observer, I've seen drastically different outcomes that have happened throughout the course of those people's respective lives.
Mhm.
And I didn't have what I would say kind of that mentor peer guidance to really direct me financially. I just
Mhm.
paid attention. And I would want to kind of take a step back and say, I've always been one of those people that I want to do everything and anything I can to help someone who's in my life. And of course, I do that for all of my clients now, but I mean for friends and family. And so
Mhm.
that background is really what got me into this business. I've seen people, like I said, make lots of money and didn't end up having the outcome that they ultimately wanted in life when it came to retirement, for
Yeah.
both business owners and non-business owners. And I've seen the polar opposite of people who maybe didn't make a lot of money, whether they had a business or didn't have a business, but they had far more than the outcome they ever thought because they planned and they saved and they just made really smart
Mhm.
financial decisions. So it's really interesting to see both sides of the spectrum of making lots of money and wealth throughout the course of your lifetime and not. And the outcomes for both people were what I would say polar opposite of what most of us would imagine them to be. And so that's what really led me into wanting to get into the financial services space in some capacity and help guide people, educate people. I take an educational approach first to everything I do. I want to teach people not just the decisions we're making for you, but why we're doing them so you can understand your personal and financial circumstances that much better. So, with that being said, I entered this space. It had my own insurance agency to start off. I was with farmers. People ask, "Well, how did you get into that specifically?" And I say, "I was sold into it. It was,
Mhm.
it was a great idea." Some insurance guy reached out to me and said, "Hey, you're young, you're ambitious, you could do that." And this was 12 years ago. And so I thought, I'll make lots of money doing that, sure, and I'll also get to help people. And I would summarize it. I liked it. I loved it. Excuse me. I liked it. I did not love it. I
Mhm.
did not love it because I wasn't in the space to really offer everything I possibly could for somebody. It was,
Mhm.
just insurance, property and casualty, your classic
Mhm.
home and auto, and maybe you're doing some life insurance. But I knew there was more, and I wanted to get involved with really offering the full gambit of helping people out. So I did that for a few years. I don't want to bore you with all the intricacies. Did that for a few years. Was successful in my time of doing it. But then, you're making those natural connections with other people in the
Yeah.
business. I'm sending business to financial advisors and
Right.
CPAs and estate planning attorneys. And so it just happened to be one of those things. Speaking of health and wellness, like Rachel, I was at the gym one day on a Saturday. I never forget it. And I just got connected with this guy, and he was a financial advisor at TD Ameritrade, and said,
Mhm.
"Hey, you should be an advisor. You got the look for it. You're smart. You're already kind of in the business." And so that's what I did. I made the transition. I sold my book of business, my insurance book of business, and got into the corporate world of financial advising, right? And I had that idea. I'm going to climb the corporate ladder. I'm going to climb the corporate ladder, and this is going to be great. It's going to be super successful. Um, and so was an advisor for a few years with TD Ameritrade. Made a transition to another large institutional wealth management firm. Did that for a year as a financial advisor, got promoted with them, managed teams of financial advisors, oversaw sales and operations. And I thought it was going good. I thought that's where I wanted to be. And then I just kind of started taking moral and ethical issues with
Mm-hmm.
really those executive level decisions that they were making top down, that I thought, man, I really don't think we're doing everything we could for all of these clients. I noticed it was becoming very transactional. These
Mm-hmm.
people feel like customers, not clients. And I just, again, I took issue with that. And so after a few years of that, I thought, I want to go back to exclusively being an advisor and doing everything I can for my clients. And luckily, at this point in my life, I had that mentor type figure
Mm-hmm.
I was leaning on and asking for guidance on. He said, "Hey, you should talk to these two guys at Sirius Wealth Management." And so I got introduced to them. Did a lot of business planning leading up to this transition, leaving the corporate space, going back to the independent space. And I haven't regretted it since. We're a team of three. Two of us are certified financial planners. We have my other business partner, Brennan, very, very smart, an investment manager, portfolio construction design, been doing it for 35 years. And I get to tag team with both of them, and we help hundreds of families out. We do, like you kind of mentioned, the multi-generational wealth transfer.
Mm-hmm.
So we work a lot with 3-generation, 4-generation families, which is
That's awesome.
fascinating to have a client who's a toddler, a kid, but you
Yeah.
also have their grandparent who's in their 90s, and you have everyone in between. And it's so fun to just help them build and grow that wealth and do things on every level, from income planning, tax planning, estate planning, retirement planning. You're just helping them with
Mm-hmm.
everything possible. And I get to do that every day, and it doesn't feel like work. People ask what I do for work, and I want to tell them I don't work. I'm doing what I love to do every single day. And that's the best part of it. Most people, again, take this with a grain of salt. They think it's 4 o'clock and they're like, man, I can't wait till it's 5 o'clock. I get to go home. It's 4 o'clock and I'm thinking, I wish I had more time.
Well, you do as close to legacy planning and having those conversations with people as I see in most industries. So I love that you're doing that. I kept thinking about, when you kept talking about mentors in the wealth space, I kept thinking about that book, something along the lines of, I'm going to butcher the title a bit, but maybe it's like 5 lessons I learned from a millionaire or something like that. There's like a breakdown. It's really a good one. So I really enjoyed that. So what's the next step if it's a family or a business owner or a C-suite person? They're like, okay, it sounds like Mason has got his act together and I'd like to work with them. Are you only able to work in certain areas based on because I know you're really highly regulated. And then what's the next step for them to find you? And then we're going to get to hear all about the beautiful, smiling, patient Rachel.
Yes, great questions. So we can work anywhere. We have clients right now
Okay.
in 17 states.
So anywhere in the U.S.
You can work anywhere in the U.S. If it's not someone we're currently registered, we'll get registered. It's
Right.
like 20, 40, 60 bucks
Right.
for the year. It's not much. So we're happy to do that. How to find us? Find us on the website, SiriusWealthManagement.com or SiriusWealth.com. You can look us up, call us, email us.
I just want to point out that Sirius Wealth Management or SiriusWealth.com, you mentioned both of those, is S as in Sam, IRIUS. It'll be in the notes of the show and the custom article about Mason, and it'll be able to find it tons of places. But I just want you to know that the Sirius is not the serious you might be thinking. So SIRIUS. So that's the next step. Go find the website and give them a call, send them an email, and set up some time to have a chat, because having a plan is huge. I know you talked about people with money and it didn't go quite where they wanted it to go, and then people who made a plan. And the other thing I thought of is, you could backpack through Europe with no plan whatsoever, and it might not go just the way you're thinking. Or you could have a travel agent plan it all out and stay at the very nicest places and eat the best food and, have the trip of your dreams. Can go either way. So I think having a plan is a much better idea. So thank you for that. And we are going to definitely come back to you But I would love to hear a little bit about Rachel's journey and story in her wellness and the beauty leadership that she's helping everyone feel beautiful and confident.
Thank you so much. Mason, thank you for sharing. I can't begin to tell you how different our stories are. Very different paths. And I mentioned off camera, I'm not a numbers person. I've had to learn how to be one, but I'm not by nature. I was an English journalism major, and that's where my journey, I guess, began with this story. I thought I was going to be an on-air talent reporter. I got an internship right out of college working at a TV station. Started putting together my reel to become, like I said, an on-air talent. And it just was not a comfort zone for me. I don't feel comfortable in front of the camera, so I give you a lot of credit, Jess. It's not
Looks like you, I'd rule the world.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny. My staff laughs at me because they want me to do like Instagrams and TikToks, and it's just not a comfort zone for me. So this podcast, the podcast exploration that I'm doing has been a challenge for me. It's out of my comfort zone. Anyway, so I started working in production for television and advertising production, and it took me into Manhattan, where I started freelancing for a lot of different networks, basically promoting the next piece of content, whatever that would be, whether it's a movie or an episode of something. Coming up next on, that was sort of what I used to do, working with art directors and whatnot to come up with a design and a commercial. And I did that for a long, long time, and I was very successful freelancer and newly married. And my husband wanted to be an entrepreneur and launch a product. And so he started quietly working on the brand that I'm going to tell you about in the background. And it just started kind of speaking to me. And he was asking me a lot of questions and feedback. And I started to realize that a lot of the advertising, if you will, that I was doing for television really translated over to, speaking to just other audiences. Just now I'm speaking to a different audience in need of something different. And so the sort of the base of the product in the beginning was a product that podiatrists were developing for their patients. It was a healthier nail polish. This is where we started. It's a nail polish that's stripped of toxins that are in traditional nail polish, and it's been infused with organic ingredients that help the nails grow. Biotin, wheat protein, vitamins, and whatnot. And so we have this formulated by doctors marketing spin, but then we also sell it to doctors. So now we're sold by doctors, recommended by doctors. And it's grown. I mean, we've been in business now almost 20 years, and we sell it all over the country and in other parts of the world. Australia, and you were talking about all the different places you've touched, the UK and Canada. So we've grown, and we're at high-end spas now because we have sort of this very niche boutique brand. And within the last 5 years or so, we've rolled out foot care, a whole foot care line, which has completely aligned with our doctor formulated brand. And we also now are really resonating with a lot of athletes out there. So we're trying to really skew from not just middle-aged women wearing healthier nail polish because they can afford it, but now unisex products, athletes, young 20-year-olds, everything. So that's my story.
So are they in some of the mainstream stores, or do we go straight to your website to find them? Or
so we do have boutique stores that carry us. We tried not to do too much mainstream like a Target, Walmart, nothing like that. We really try to give our doctors the, they sort of corner the market and what they're doing for us. We have so many of them that they're still beloved. We sell it online. We do sell it on Amazon. RemedyNails.com is our website.
Say it one more time.
RemedyNails.com. RemedyNails.com.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure they had all of the pieces for that. I started in my 20s radio advertising sales. And I was in love with it. I thought this was the greatest job on the planet. Every time I went to a new client, I was like, okay, I own this business. I'm part of this family business. How do we do this? Like, and I would go in with ideas about their commercials and their pitch and their specials and how to bring the community in and how to connect to the community and how to connect to cause marketing and, include something that they loved and cared about in it. And I just had a blast. I thought, I don't know why everyone doesn't do this. And every time I got a new client or a new contractor, we rolled out a new big commercial thing, I was giving myself a raise. I thought, who needs, I don't understand why people do other things to make them feel this.
Yeah.
I was on cloud nine floating all the time. I was like, this is the greatest job ever.
That's great. It sounds like Mason loves what he does. I absolutely love and feel very grateful to get to do what I do. I think that's kind of it, right? Like I have 3 boys, raising 3 boys, and that's just the way I want them to embrace life. Don't feel like it's a job where you're working it and then you'll eventually retire from it. You got to really sort of love it along the way.
Yeah, this is my version of retirement. I'm living my life mission and vision. And, I'll always do the podcast. I've done them from my kayak. I'll do them as I travel. I'll do them whenever because it's just a lot of fun. And we're converting our whole legacy gratitude community into a legacy foundation and nonprofit. And so it'll live on long after I'm gone with all of the experts that give advice, and all of these podcasts will be a part of it. And yeah, so I think when we're doing this kind of thing, it's big stuff. So any average person can go and find you and have healthier nails and toenails, it sounds like, and be amazing. I'm so like loving that the podiatrists are caring about the nail polish on my toenails. Like that is wonderful, and it cracks me up at the same exact time.
Well, it's interesting that you should say that, because I think that really the root of the story is that podiatrists, for the history of their profession, has always been to tell women not to wear nail polish because it's damaging, drying, it's yellowing them. So what's kind of cool about our story is we changed that conversation. We not only developed a product made by doctors, now it's sold by doctors, recommended by doctors. So it's interesting that this was something that they were very anti, and now they're actually making money selling it in their offices. So
awesome. Yes, they flipped the script. That's right.
We sure did.
Right. All right, Mason. I would love to get a tip from you. There's so many things we can do with money, and sometimes you just don't know where to start. I realized the first big step is to make a call to someone like you. Give your office a call, set up some time. I think you're the kind of person, and I'm just gonna assume this, so you can tell me no live right here on air, that I walk into your office and tell you all my big crazy dreams, and you wouldn't laugh at any of them. You'd say, okay, let's see, we could start with these 3 first, and then we'll have to move to these 3 because in the plan we'll have to have this in place for that to happen. And you're just going to run with it. You're not going to think that I'm totally lost my mind and it's completely impossible. Is that true?
No. I love it. I love when I have very ambitious people, and we're never disrespectful.
Of course,
but you have to be realistic, and
well, you have to be. I don't.
You all have to, exactly. No, we could. I could say, Jessica, how much time do we have? I could sit here and tell you stories of ideas and very ambitious people coming in. I want to do this and I want to do that, and then we start reviewing financial things, and we're like, hey, that list is getting smaller and smaller the more you keep talking.
Yeah.
So no, but it's always a great conversation to have, and that's really where it always starts is, Jessica, Rachel, what do you want to do? And we'll start from there, and then we'll dive into how can we make those things happen. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm an analyzer first, and then I'm a problem solver. That's really where it comes down to. So I love to, see all my clients, reach their goals and be able to do and live the life that they want to live, leading up into retirement, to selling a business, to doing, all the things they want to do in retirement, traveling, relocating, traveling Europe, whatever whatever it may be. It's awesome to be able to, hear somebody come in and I got this list of 10 things. I'm going to accomplish each one of them. And I'm like, let's make it happen. what can we do to make it happen? But yeah, I mean, the tip I tell most people is, and these kind of seem very commonsensical, but it's, take them with a grain of salt and then write them down, repeat it to yourself, right now, when you're laying in bed at night, and really just start to think hard on it. But the first one is, and this is coming from a certified financial planner, having a plan is pointless, but planning is crucial. And the reason there's a distinguishing factor between those is, you can't say, okay, this is my plan, and it's going to be that exact plan in 6 months, in 6 years, in 16 or 60 years, whatever the case is. Statistically, we're all going to experience one to several life-changing events throughout the course of our lifetime, whether it's having kids, whether it's, relocating, excuse me, whether it's, I hate to say it, a death in the family or someone close to us. It's something. So we're going to, and so that's why planning is important, to adjust to those changes. Okay. So that's kind of the more serious tip, if I will. The second other small tip, and again, this is very basic. As long as you save money today, you're going to have more money than you did yesterday.
I love that. Stick
like
that
that.
money in the jar, at very least. Hey, I wanted to ask you before we move on to Rachel's beauty tip or tip in general. I think you could offer some pretty good business tips too. It sounds like you're far more than just beauty. But I wanted to ask you, Mason, who are some of your best collaboration, or we talked about your customers, but who are some of your best collaboration or referral partners? I heard you talking before, other insurance agents for different kinds of insurance, CPAs, maybe attorneys, but is there someone else that I wouldn't have, or the community listening wouldn't maybe think of right off the bat?
Yeah, I mean, best, if I would say, industry professionals, insurance agents, commercial lenders are great. Estate planning attorneys are always great. Your friend, your neighbor, someone you're talking to, that you're often sharing, after maybe a few cocktails or not, something about your personal financial circumstances. And they're like, you should talk to a financial advisor. Sometimes those are the best.
I know a guy.
Yeah, I know a guy. You should talk.
I know a guy. That's awesome. All right, Rachel, how about you? Give us a wonderful tip.
Well, I mean, beauty tip, I don't know. It's interesting because I don't necessarily think of our brand so much. Beauty isn't the first thing that comes to my mind when I think about our brand. It's probably more wellness and foundational. When it comes to business, to me at least, and this aligns with the brand, is that innovation doesn't come from chasing trends. And if we did that, I don't think that we would be where we are almost 20 years later. I think it comes from sitting with real problems and understanding them. You sit with it long enough, you understand the problem long enough, it becomes something that feels important and that you can feel passionate about. So that would be sort of maybe an entrepreneurial tip, if you will. And then as far as just wellness or self-care, I would say that, when we care for our foundation, everything above it performs better. You were talking about confidence earlier. And I think that, especially with feet, I mean, I like to think of ourselves as sort of the foot disruptors in the industry. And I think that when we care about our feet, there are things that we can do every day. Like, for instance, we have a foot scrub that is made with salt from the Dead Sea. It's nourishing, it's exfoliating, but it feels good. And it sets you up to feel, ready to conquer the day. Right. But it's also functional, right? It's foundational, where it's cleansing, it's maybe warding off bacteria and potential fungus growth, especially with winter. I mean, we're in the dead of winter here in New York. snow and everyone's in boots or skiing. It's like that trapped environment. I mean, let's face it, if our feet don't feel good, where are we going?
Nowhere.
Right? I mean, philosophically and logistically. So I think that that's sort of protect your foundation.
Well, the other interesting thing I heard you say is, don't go with trends, but I also heard, you're talking about looking at what the problem is and the solution. But really with your product, you had to listen from both sides. Like you listened to what the doctors didn't like and didn't want. And then you also listened to what the patients didn't like or didn't want, and finding a way to bring those two together with a solution in the middle that made everyone happy,
Right. Right.
is key. So really listening well to different sides of the table that have to do with your business or your product or your service or anything you're doing. I mean, this applies to financial as well, right?
Yeah.
Having different options and different solutions. I know there's some people who really hate the idea of the flat fee kind of financial person, or then there's the ones who are, well, I don't know about him or she making money every time I make money in the market, or however there's so many different options. So it's listening to the customer and looking at both sides of the coin of what's actually happening and what is could be better, and also what Mason said about educating. I think that's a huge piece. Is a lot of people just don't understand the benefits or the downfalls of the different options, and aren't always getting their information from good sources. So I have a feeling Mason agrees with me about that.
Very much.
People using AI too much.
Yeah,
Probably
right.
a little frustrating.
Yeah, I would not recommend that. But
Yeah.
as we mentioned, we're not giving you financial or legal advice. Go be a grown up and get some from someone who's licensed and knows. We have someone right here. So anyway, moving on to one of my favorite parts is I love for us to take a breath and to take a minute to share a nonprofit cause that is close to my guests. That's right. I want to inspire someone out there, someone maybe you, to give time, treasure, or talent, or be inspired by a cause that our guest shared, or just to remember, oh, yeah, you have something you love and you just haven't had the time. Life got in the way. Reach out to them, find out what they need, give some time, treasure, talent, or love to the cause you care about, or just make a post about them and spread some awareness. Awareness is a huge way to support any cause you care about, because if people don't know it's out there, then they're also not supporting it, or maybe even not taking advantage of the services, and they need them, or they know someone who needs them. So awareness is huge. So that is why we do this in our show. So Mason, please share with us a cause you care about.
Yes, locally, we are a part of the St. Louis Men's Group Against Cancer. It's a
I don't think
100%.
anyone's for that, man. I think everyone's against it. Stomp out the C word. I love that. So tell us a little more about it. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
No, it's great. They throw on a very large meeting, fundraising event once a year, and I mean they raise just shy of $1 million every year. There's hundreds, thousands of men who come out, organizations, firms that come out and donate, and they have the keynote speakers who come out and speak about their life personally affected by a form of cancer, somebody they knew, how it impacted and changed just their thought, right, about I need to be involved more, not just in the society, but this organization, because there's thousands and millions of other people out there affected by cancer and don't necessarily have that support. So this is just an awesome fundraising event to be a part of, and to hear the impact year after year, every year we attend, what the fundraising has been used for and done, and the lives it's saved. So that's really been close to our hearts over the years.
That is awesome. And unfortunately, yeah, all of us, I haven't run into anyone yet who hasn't in some way or shape or form been affected by the icky C word. So thank you for sharing that. That's a great one. I love it when we reach into our local spaces, local, global, they're all wonderful. Rachel, how about you?
Well, actually, two come to mind. I feel very fortunate because I feel like, again, we hear this word beauty, and you don't think about how much it can affect and touch people and make them feel good about themselves. Confidence is something that we really kind of focus on in our brand. All of our nail polishes, all of our products actually are named for to evoke some sort of a feeling or, uh, you know, uh, inspiring in some way. And like whether it's profound or purity, these are some of the words of our names of our products. That said, so we've done some work with Ronald McDonald House where we've actually gone in to paint nails of some of the patients that are there to make them feel good about themselves. Obviously, we've done a lot of donation to places like this, but that sort of like literally hands-on giving back has felt so good. I remember I took our son when he was younger, and it just felt really nice to just be connected in that way and make them feel good about something that was not toxic and better for them. But for the past 15 years, I would say 10 to 15 years, we've been working with this amazing organization called Living Beyond Breast Cancer. And their philosophy is, what does living beyond breast cancer look like? The post-treatment, and what do these people, how are they living their lives, and their success stories, and they're amazing. So we've done a lot of work with them, whether it's donations or giveaways, ways to raise money. So we just love that organization a lot, that every year we look to work with them.
I think that's beautiful because so often when someone goes through something very personally, they're the first to run to go support someone who's just got the call and just got the news, Um, and I think that's pretty awesome. So,
Yeah. And well,
okay.
people that who have had cancer have a lot of damage on their nails. This is something that I wouldn't have known had I not been in this
Oh,
space. They
yeah,
have,
I wouldn't have thought
especially
of that
going through
either.
chemotherapy, their nails are brittle, they're peeling,
Well, that
destroyed.
makes sense because,
So
yeah.
we have a recovery system that will help bring their nails back. So there's confidence in like a
Oh,
real treatment
beautiful.
way too.
Yeah, that's beautiful, and a lot of great ways for you to partner with all these amazing organizations for them to know that this solution is here too. So I think that's beautiful. Well, I love that. All right, now I am a bookaholic. Yes, I love trees, but I really love to hold a book. But I listen to audiobooks too, and I just can't do the screen books like the Kindles and the phone and all. I or a tablet book. I need either paper or an audio because I feel like I'm looking at the screen too much sometimes, and I need a break from that. And that's part of why I go to a book. I love books of all kinds, but I love for our guests to share books that inspired their personal life and helped them grow their business. And you would not believe we're pulling together for our 11th year birthday next year. We're having a big bash, and well, by then we'll have pulled all of the old audio threads, upload them to all of the platforms from an audio version because I started backwards. I thought, video is the thing. I'm just going to go with video. And then we'll also be having a directory of all of the nonprofits that our guests shared, a directory of all the books they've shared over the years. And there have been some super phenomenal ones. So, Mason, will you share with us a book that inspired your personal life or helped you grow your business?
Yes, I'm too a big bookie. I have a bookshelf here in my office. I have a bookshelf at my office at my house. So yeah, I love to read. It's great. It's always great downtime. But I've always been a big fan of your typical self-help book.
Mhm.
12 Rules to Life by Jordan Peterson.
Mm.
I've loved. It's been a bestseller. It's a longer book, maybe a little dry to some people. I will admit. But you don't approach it with an open mind and just kind of on his, professional opinions and insights, kind of just opens you up to give a different perspective to certain things and how you approach, you know, uh, life every day with friends and family and interactions, but also in that business sense and, when to settle down and just kind of, you know, uh, turn your gears that are spinning in your head a little different, right? And I
Mhm.
feel like I've read that years ago, and I've revisited it twice.
Mhm.
It's been a good read. I have little notes in there for different paragraphs and sections I like to go back and reference. But I would have to credit that to being a good, impactful book that on my life and business.
I think that those kinds of books, when you say, there's a lot of good golden nuggets in there, but some people could, see some of it a bit dry. I think those are sometimes some of the very best books for a book club, right? Because it kind of brings to life all the different facets, and you get, like you said, if it's something that's bringing different perspectives, that's a great for a book club conversation. So awesome. I've never heard of that one. Thank you for sharing it. How about you, Rachel?
I love books as well. I wish I made more time for I listen to books more often than I
Yeah.
sit and read, but I do flip-flop back and forth. My favorite genre is historical fiction. So that's not helpful in this conversation. Oh, really?
I'm actually writing a series of 7 novels that are connected, that are historical fiction. I'm
We will
writing.
have to talk because I have inspired to write a book as well,
Yeah.
based on my grandmother's life. So I'm hoping that I get moving with that. But I think that, listen, books have touched me in different times of my life. Like I remember early in my career, of course, the 4-Hour Work Week was really,
Mhm.
piqued my interest. And then Atomic Habits is an amazing book. I know a lot of people talk about that one, but I think the book that I can mention for today is The Defining Decade, by Meg Jay. And it's really about, it's inspired me because we are trying to move into this. I have 2 kids in their 20s. It talks about the defining decade being your 20s. I have
Mhm.
2 children that are in that decade now, but I also have people working for me in that decade, and we're trying to speak to audiences of that decade. I was talking about the athlete focus that we have going on.
Mhm.
So it's really just kind of talking about how this decade is not a throwaway decade. Maybe that's the way I was brought up, like just enjoy your 20s. There's something really pivotal that should happen during this time where we're curious and we're taking action, and there's a lot of hands-on. So not pressure, not stress, not it shouldn't be it's not a bad thing, but empowering is probably the best way to describe the way the book encourages you to live that decade.
Yeah, I lived almost half of that in Europe when I was young. So, yeah, I had some definitely fun adventures. And our book club did do The Atomic Habit as one of our books. And we definitely have to talk about the historical fiction. That was one of my favorite authors is Fiona Davis. Do you know her?
I know the name. I don't think I've ever read anything.
You'll love them. It's because there are a lot of them, almost everything I think I've read so far. I haven't read all of hers, but they are New York. So The Lions of Fifth Avenue is outstanding. Magnolia Palace is outstanding. Mason knows Fiona Davis. How do you know Fiona Davis?
Just
Maybe he's
reading,
nodding to be
being out
polite.
there. I experiment with books. I like to get some different ideas
Oh,
out
you
there.
like her too?
Yeah, she's good. I mean, yeah.
Which ones have you read?
Both the Fifth Avenue one that you had
The
mentioned.
Lions of Fifth Avenue.
The
That
Line
was
of
good.
Fifth
I
Avenue is
liked
the
it.
most recent
She
one.
has I like her style. I like her twist. I love how she tells us at the end what parts were real history and what parts were like, really fantastic. She's so
And
much fun.
that was just like because that was not what I would have ever gravitated towards. And I had people calling me out like, you need to diversify your reading a little bit more. And so it was actually my neighbor was like, here's a book, try it out. And that was it. So
It was good. It was a good one. I just finished The Address, and I don't think that was my ultimate favorite. But I would also read Spectacular. I read that one, but read that one at Christmas time. You'll like that one at Christmas because it's a little bit about the Rockettes too and their history.
Very
So
cool.
I mean, but it's also, historical fiction. So it's really, really good. I'm a big fan.
All right, I'm on it. Fiona Davis. Yeah.
That's right. Okay, we are gonna go really quickly. 3 things, Mason. I want to know if there's anything else about you or your business that you didn't feel like you got to share. I'd like to share
mhm.
that. and then talk about gratitude and legacy. So what gratitude and legacy mean to you?
Yeah, I'll start with gratitude and legacy. So, legacy, we approach that, and I approach that with my own personal life, but also, helping clients with their legacy. And it's just,
Mm-hmm.
how do you want to be remembered, and what do you want to leave behind?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And we want to live. I would feel that most people, we want to live a prosperous and successful life, and have some sort of meaningful impact on our spouse, on our kids, on our family, on our business. And how are we going to be remembered when we leave this earth? That's how I approach legacy. In terms of gratitude, I'm a big believer, no one is successful by themselves. It's just not. I mean, I'm not successful by myself. I can go out and source all of the new clients that I want, but the fact of the matter is those clients came to us through some form of connection, right? It's somebody who referred them to me and put a word out there. And so just having that gratitude and showing that gratitude and being thankful for someone to allow myself to grow and our business to grow. So those are, both the legacy and gratitude comments. Something about the business that I haven't got to share. We just take a different approach. I mean, I don't have anything to sell anybody. If you're here looking for a specific product or a rate, I'm not your guy. We want to provide solutions and provide true value to not just people, but their family. And if that's what somebody's looking for and truly finds value in, we're it. We hopefully are a good fit, but we always love to help people out any way we can.
I love that. Thank you, Mason. How about you, Rachel? Anything else about the business we didn't get to touch, or your thoughts on legacy and gratitude?
Okay, so I maybe can combine the brand with business. And I guess one of the things that I've learned is that if you want sustained success, you have to build systems that even work even on your worst days. And I think that goes from the way we take care of ourselves to obviously the way we take care of our business. Someone gave me a compliment years ago that our business, despite it being a small business, has always been set up to run and to scale beyond what we might do right now. And so that's it. Set up systems, set up habits, talking about atomic habits that sustain you even on your worst days, because you're going to have them. Gratitude. The thing that I could say about gratitude that's pretty cool is we have a text thread with my family. So I have 3 boys, my husband and I, and my husband is probably the best at it. He shares on our group thread every single day what he's grateful for. And I think that acknowledging or verbalizing your gratitude to others helps hold us accountable, it makes us feel good to say it. So we love it. And, I'm sure we all look to see if he's grateful for us. We scroll through. When does he say he's grateful for me? No, but he's really good at just finding gratitude. And I think he's inspired us all to lean into that. It's so important, right? To find things that we're grateful for. So I love that. And I am so sorry. The legacy, that was the third one. The legacy, I think for me would be, there's got to be a reason that we do the things, that we learn the things, the successes, the failures. I've made mistakes in my life. I've been hurt. I've been, at the bottom of my, rung. And I think that to inspire others with our story, share pieces and parts of ourselves. I hope that my legacy is that, right, that my story and the things that I've learned and grown from inspire others in their life. So that's the way I like to live, thinking about how I'm touching other people's lives.
Yeah, me too. That's why legacy is such a big deal for me. My word this year is the ripple effect. I took a whole phrase. I just went for it this year. I love that you talked about systems. I'm a big, if you'll love these if you haven't read them already. Systemology is an amazing book. So Systemology, written by 2 different authors, read with like, I don't matter. It doesn't really matter which one you read first, I don't think, but they go together like peanut butter and jelly. Another author wrote Fix This Next. He has a whole series of books, but those 2 together, like, I want to introduce the authors because they don't realize where one's missing some holes, the other one fills it in between those 2 books.
Cool.
It's really fascinating. The other audiobook I'm listening to that may be really helpful to you as well, Rachel, for team, is called The 4 Disciplines of Execution, and it's by Sean Covey. Well, he's one of the 3 authors, Stephen Covey's son, and it's outstanding. I'm listening to that one. It is fantastic and profound. You have a nail polish that's profound. This is profound professional.
Yeah, a product, yeah.
This is profound professional. So I love that. I love that you had brought that up. And our family does this really cool thing. We were in the car the other day. My husband and I started doing it when we were dating 27 years ago. And we call it the 3 things. And we do it now with the children, with each other and the children. And we often do it in the car because you're in the car. And I love it when you can kind of see legacy in action, because my 9-year-old granddaughter was in the car. My 14-year-old, we were on our way to her soccer game. She's in travel soccer and all year soccer. And so it was the 4 of us. And my granddaughter says, okay, I'm going to do the 3 things game. And she did granddad. She did the 3 things she loves about him. Did 3 things she loves and likes about me. And then 3 things she loved and liked about Kara. And then everyone else, that's the game. You pick it up. So then Kara went and the kids they love being the one giving the praise almost as much as they love it when it's their turn, when the person who's coming around gives them. And it's very fascinating to listen to what they pay attention to, what they like, what they notice, and Mason is saying, he paid attention as a child. It's really interesting to see and hear playing that game with the kids, what they notice about us. They really are paying attention.
They're watching.
For sure.
They are watching. At one time, one of them gave me, I love how when mom's in the grocery store, she'll just turn to the person in line and tell them something wonderful about them. She'll say, I love your glasses. Oh, that's a great dress. Like, she'll just compliment a perfect stranger, I was like, wow, I really do that. I didn't notice they were watching. So it's fascinating and it's
Very
fun.
cool.
So I love that you have that gratitude practice with your text thread. All right. Well, this has been Oodles of Fun. I hope you guys have both had oodles of fun. Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, if you're out there thinking, wait, I'm changing the world of beauty, brains, money, and all the things, and you need to be featured on Profound Professionals, well, come on, reach out to me and our team, and we'll show you just how to get on the show. But before we say goodbye, we're going to get a final thought, piece of information or inspiration from our guest, and away we're going to go. Mason, you're up. Some final thoughts for us?
Oh, boy, put me on the spot. Final thoughts. I would keep it simple. Plan ahead. Think about just the life you want to live, and what does it take to do the things that you want to do. And I'm not just saying that because I'm in the profession I'm in. I'm just saying that as general life advice that's helped me. That piece of advice was shared with me by a mentor far before I got to where I'm at now. Just think about what you want to do and what it's going to take to get there, and make it happen. Start planning.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Mason. How about you, Rachel? A final thought for us?
Well, I think that one of the things we can all relate to is, I think as we move through life, we all at times have imposter syndrome. I mentioned early on that I didn't have an MBA and I had to figure this out on the fly. So I think that growth sometimes shows up as discomfort, and that this is the way to grow, right? Get outside your comfort zone and do hard things, and it pays off.
I love that. Make a plan and grow. You heard it. Yes, right. You heard it right here from, you guessed it, your host, Jessica Koch, and Profound Professionals. And until the next one, everybody out there, be kind to yourself and be kind to each other. Bye, everybody.